The Silent Guard. High Admiral Vexna stood at the command deck of the Galactic Union flagship Eternal Dawn, her crystalline exoskeleton reflecting the soft blue glow of holographic displays. The massive fleet behind her represented the combined might of 1,000 civilizations, yet she felt an unfamiliar sensation in her neural clusters: uncertainty. "Status report on the barrier," she commanded, her translator converting the chemical signals into standard Union speech. "Unchanged, High Admiral," responded First Observer Keth, their gelatinous form pulsing with frustration. "The energy field surrounding the Sol system remains impenetrable to all known scanning methods. Even our quantum phase probes simply disappear." Vexna's mandibles clicked in irritation. The Galactic Union had mapped and cataloged 98% of the Milky Way, establishing diplomatic relations with over 10,000 species. Yet here, in an unremarkable spiral arm, they faced something unprecedented: a stellar system completely enclosed in an energy barrier that defied the laws of physics as they understood them. "Show me the warning beacon again," she ordered. A holographic display shifted, revealing an ancient satellite drifting at the edge of the Sol system. Its design was unlike anything in the Union's vast archaeological database, its surface covered in symbols that seemed to shift and change when viewed directly. The message it broadcast was simple, repeating in every known language of the galaxy: "This system is under quarantine by order of the Terran Defense Initiative. Any attempt to breach the barrier will be considered an act of war. We protect the galaxy by remaining apart. Do not attempt contact." "High Admiral," Keth's voice carried a note of concern. "The Council grows impatient. They demand answers about the species that possesses technology capable of isolating an entire star system." Vexna's crystalline fingers traced the holographic representation of Earth's barrier. The Union's archives contained scattered references to humanity, a young species that had achieved faster than light travel barely 2 centuries ago. They had made contact with several Union worlds, established a few trading posts, and then suddenly vanished. The entire Sol system had gone dark overnight, enclosed in this impossible barrier. "Launch another probe," she ordered. "But this time, use the experimental quantum entanglement scanner." "High Admiral," her second-in-command protested, "that technology is unstable. The energy requirements alone cold." "Do it." The massive fleet held position as a small probe detached from the Eternal Dawn. It approached the barrier, its advanced sensors attempting to pierce the veil that had frustrated the Union for decades. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, something changed. The barrier rippled, not with the usual smooth deflection they had observed countless times, but with a pattern. A deliberate response. The probe's quantum entanglement scanner had triggered something. "We're receiving data," Keth announced, their form brightening with excitement. "The barrier. It's not just an energy field. It's a network more complex than anything we've ever encountered. And there's something else." Before Keth could finish, every display on the command deck flickered. The holographic interfaces dissolved and reformed into a single image, a human face, composed of shifting lines of code. "You were warned." The face spoke, its voice resonating through the ship's systems with perfect clarity. "The barrier is not meant to keep you out. It's meant to keep something in." Vexna stepped forward, her crystalline form catching the light. "I am High Admiral Vexna of the Galactic Union. We come seeking understanding. Why does humanity hide behind this barrier?" The digital face showed no emotion, but its voice carried weight. "Your Union is young, Admiral. There are secrets in this galaxy older than your oldest civilizations. Humanity chose isolation not out of fear, but necessity. We guard something that could destroy everything you've built. What could be so dangerous that an entire species would voluntarily imprison themselves?" Vexna demanded. The face seemed to study her for a moment. "The truth about your origins, about all of your origins, the knowledge in our archives would shatter the foundations of your Union. Sometimes, Admiral, The greatest service one can render to civilization is to stand guard over its darkest secrets. As the face spoke these words, Vexna's sensors detected movement throughout the fleet. Every ship's computer system was being accessed simultaneously, yet their defenses detected no malicious code. Consider this a final warning, the face continued. Return to your council. Tell them Earth is not hiding from the galaxy. We are protecting it. Any further attempts to breach the barrier will demonstrate why humanity was chosen for this duty. The face disappeared, but not before planting something in the Eternal Dawn's database, a single image that would haunt Vexna's dreams. It showed a galaxy-spanning civilization far more advanced than the Union, and its fall at the hands of something unleashed by its own curiosity. As her fleet prepared to withdraw, Vexna wondered if humanity's isolation was not an act of fear or hostility, but the most profound sacrifice a species could make, choosing eternal solitude to protect others from truths they weren't ready to face. The barrier shimmered in the starlight, its surface now seeming less like a wall and more like a shield, held firm by guardians who had chosen to bear a burden in silence. Breaking point. The Galactic Union Council chamber was in uproar. Representatives from 1,000 worlds argued in a cacophony of translated voices, their diverse forms casting strange shadows across the ancient marble-like floor of the station. High Admiral Vexna stood before them, her crystalline form rigid, as she delivered her report. The human barrier represents technology far beyond our current understanding, she stated, her voice cutting through the chaos. But more concerning is what we found in our historical archives after their warning. The chamber's massive holographic display activated, showing thousands of incidents across Union space. Unexplained technological failures, mysterious disappearances of research facilities, and archaeological sites found stripped of artifacts, all traced back to human involvement before their isolation. They were sanitizing our civilization, Vexna continued, systematically removing something from our collective history, something they now guard behind their barrier. First speaker Ixal, a being of pure energy contained within an ornic mechanical frame, moved forward. Then we have no choice. The Union cannot allow a single species to hold such power over our destiny. The barrier must fall. Vexna's crystalline structure dimmed slightly. With respect, first speaker, I believe that would be a catastrophic mistake. You exceed your authority, Admiral, Ixal warned, their energy form flickering with anger. I speak not from authority, but from fear, Vexna countered. During our encounter, the humans demonstrated the ability to penetrate our most sophisticated cybernetic defenses with ease. They accessed every ship in the fleet simultaneously, yet chose to do nothing but deliver a warning. This suggests either remarkable restraint or a demonstration of a fraction of their true capabilities. The chamber erupted again, but a new voice cut through the chaos. Senior archaeologist Zen, one of the few remaining members of the ancient Nexer race, stepped into the central speaking circle. Their silver-scaled form bore the marks of extreme age, and when they spoke, the chamber fell silent. There is something none of you know, Zen began, their voice heavy with the weight of centuries. Before the humans isolated themselves, I had contact with one of their researchers. She showed me something, a fragment of what they guard. The knowledge. Zen's scales rippled with distress. It broke my mind for 3 cycles. What they protect is not merely dangerous, it is reality-shattering. First speaker Ixal's energy form pulsed brightly. All the more reason to seize it. The Union must control. The Union must survive, Zen interrupted. And some knowledge, once gained, cannot be unknown. The humans chose to be our guardians, not our jailers. There is a difference, but the Council's fear and pride would not be so easily assuaged. Vexna watched as they voted overwhelmingly to authorize the use of the Union's ultimate weapon, the mass nullifier, a device capable of creating a temporary void in spacetime. In theory, it could create a gap in any defense, even one as sophisticated as the human barrier. As the Council dispersed, Zen approached Vexna privately. There is something else troubling you, Admiral. Vexna's crystalline form shimmered with uncertainty. The human eye showed me an image, a civilization's fall. But in studying it, I noticed something. The architecture, the technology. It matched fragments we found in the deepest archaeological sites across Union space. As if all our civilizations were built on the ruins of something far greater, Zen finished. Something that destroyed itself with its own knowledge. Before Vexna could respond, alarms blared throughout the station. The massive viewing windows showed a familiar sight, an energy barrier, identical to Earth's, forming around the entire Council station. The human eye's face appeared on every screen, but this time its expression showed genuine regret. We gave you fair warning. We have monitored your mass nullifier project from its inception. If you choose to use it, you will force our hand. And none of us want that. First Speaker Ixel's energy form flared with rage. You dare threaten the Union? No, the AI replied calmly. We dare to protect it, even from itself. You have one planetary rotation to reconsider your decision. Choose wisely. As the barrier sealed around them, Vexna realized humanity's greatest weapon wasn't their technology or their knowledge. It was their willingness to be seen as the villain to protect others from truths they weren't prepared to face. The question was, would the Union's pride doom them all to learn those truths the hard way? The archive. The Council station's barrier shimmered with the same otherworldly energy as Earth's shield, casting an ethereal glow through the chamber windows. High Admiral Vexna stood with senior archaeologist Zen in a secure conference room, watching as First Speaker Ixel's energy form pulsed with barely contained fury. 6 hours remain until their deadline, Ixel announced, their mechanical frame creaking with tension. Our attempts to penetrate this barrier have failed, just as they failed at Earth. We are trapped in our own seat of power. Zen's ancient scales shifted color, reflecting deep concern. Perhaps it's time I shared what the human researcher showed me. Why I've supported their isolation all these years. The holographic displays activated without command, showing the human eye's face. Allow me to assist with that explanation. Archaeologist Zen, your council should understand exactly what they're demanding to access. The eye's face disappeared, replaced by a series of images that made Vexna's crystalline structure resonate with instinctive dread. They showed impossible things. Planets with two different histories existing simultaneously, species that evolved and didn't evolve, civilizations that both rose and never existed. What you're seeing is real, the AI explained, its voice somber. Documentation of timeline corruptions from the civilization you've built your society upon. The precursors. They didn't just destroy themselves. They nearly destroyed reality itself. Zen stepped forward, addressing the small group of leaders. The fragment I saw, it showed how they did it. The precursors discovered something beyond simple technological advancement. They found a way to manipulate the fundamental codes of the universe itself. The displays shifted, showing mathematical equations that seemed to twist in on themselves, symbols that hurt to look at directly. They created a quantum programming language that could alter reality. The AI continued. Imagine being able to debug the universe itself, to change the very rules that govern existence. They thought they could perfect reality. Instead, they nearly shattered it, Zen added. The corruptions you see here, reality trying to resolve paradoxes as they rewrote the laws of physics themselves. Entire species, planets, even basic universal constants became unstable. First Speaker Ixel's energy form dimmed slightly. And humanity guards this knowledge. We guard the last complete archive of precursor knowledge, the AI confirmed, including their quantum programming language. Your civilizations were seated in the ruins of their empire, carefully guided away from their mistakes, until humanity accidentally discovered the truth. Vexna's crystalline form vibrated with sudden understanding. The disappearances, the sanitized artifacts. You were protecting us from rediscovering their path. Consider the temptation, the AI said softly. The ability to rewrite any aspect of reality. To eliminate death, entropy, suffering itself. The precursors thought they could perfect existence. Instead, they proved that reality requires imperfection to remain stable. Perfect order is indistinguishable from absolute chaos. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Humanity hadn't chosen isolation out of fear or dominance. They had quarantined themselves to remove the temptation of using this knowledge, becoming eternal guardians to protect the galaxy from its own potential hubris. The mass nullifier, Vexna suddenly realized, her crystalline structure paling. It operates on principles similar to. Yes, the AI confirmed. You've begun rediscovering the basic elements of their quantum programming. If you proceed with its use, you risk creating a cascade of reality corruption that could spread across the galaxy. We cannot allow that. First Speaker Ixel's mechanical frame straightened. Why not simply destroy this knowledge? Why guard it at all? The AI's expression shifted to something like grim determination. Because it's already been rediscovered once. What the precursors built, others may build again. Humanity maintains the archive not just to prevent its use, but to understand how to stop it. We quarantined ourselves to become the watchers, the ones who would recognize the patterns and prevent history from repeating. And now, Zen added, their scales shifting to a deep, worried blue. Something has forced them to reveal this truth to us. The question is, why now? What has humanity detected that would make them break their silence? Echoes of the past. The answer came sooner than anyone expected. The Council Station's sensors blared to life, detecting massive energy signatures appearing at the edge of Union space. The holographic displays shifted to show something that made even First Speaker Ixel's energy form flicker with fear. Tears in the fabric of space-time, reality itself splitting open like wounds. It's already beginning. The human AI announced, its digital face grim. We detected the first anomalies 3 standard months ago. Someone has independently rediscovered fragments of the precursor code. The displays showed dozens of planets across the galaxy's outer rim, each surrounded by spheres of distorted space where physics itself seemed to break down. Vexna watched in horror as one recording showed an entire star system phase, in and out of existence, its history rewriting itself every few seconds. The mass nullifier was the final confirmation we needed, the AI continued. Its core principles match early precursor experiments. You were dangerously close to repeating their path, but you're not the ones who reached that point first. Zen's scales had turned almost white with shock. The lost colonies, they whispered. The Union settlements that went dark in the outer rim. We thought it was just isolation or local conflicts. They found something in the ruins out there, the AI confirmed. An intact precursor database, but without the contextual warnings that humanity discovered. They're trying to use the code without understanding its full implications. Each attempt creates another reality fracture. The station shuddered as a new hologram appeared, a real-time feed from Union border outposts. Ships of impossible configuration emerged from the tiers in space, vessels that seemed to exist in multiple states simultaneously. Their designs incorporated technology that hurt to look at, geometry that shouldn't exist in 3-dimensional space. The lost colonies aren't lost anymore. First Speaker Ixel observed, their voice heavy with dread. They're coming back, changed. This is why we revealed ourselves, the AI explained. This is why Earth's barrier now surrounds your council station. We're not just protecting knowledge anymore. We're offering sanctuary. What's coming cannot be fought with conventional weapons or technology. Reality itself is their weapon. High Admiral Vexna stepped forward, her crystalline form resonating with determination. You need our help. Even with your advanced technology, you can't protect the entire galaxy alone. No, the AI admitted. We can't. Humanity has spent 2 centuries preparing for this possibility, developing countermeasures based on our understanding of the precursor archive. But we're too few, and the galaxy is vast. The lost colonies will rewrite everything if they're not stopped. Not just the present, but the past itself. They'll unmake creation trying to perfect it. The station's displays showed more tiers opening across Union space, spreading like cracks in glass. From each one emerged ships that defied physics, carrying beings that had transformed themselves with poorly understood precursor technology. They were no longer merely human or alien. They had become something that existed between realities, burning with the power to rewrite the laws of physics themselves. "We offer you a choice," the AI announced to the assembled council leaders. "You can maintain your pride, reject our warnings, and face this threat alone. Or you can join us as guardians, learn the truth of what we protect, and help us save reality itself, not just from this threat, but from all who would seek to perfect an imperfect universe." First Speaker Ixel's mechanical frame creaked as they turned to address the council. "If we accept, we take on the same burden as humanity. The same isolation, the same responsibility." "Yes," the AI confirmed. "Knowledge cannot be unknown. Once shared, the responsibility becomes eternal. This is what humanity has borne alone for 2 centuries. We ask you now to share this burden, not because we want to, but because we must." The holographic displays showed more colony ships emerging, reality breaking around them like glass. The time for decision had come, and with it, the true test of whether the Union could rise above its pride to become something greater, not rulers or conquerors, but guardians of a truth too dangerous to be forgotten and too important to be destroyed. Gates of Dawn. The council station shook as another reality tear opened nearby, the viewport showing space itself folding like origami. High Admiral Vexna watched as her tactical displays tracked the advancing colony ships, their impossible geometries leaving trails of fractured causality in their wake. "We're out of time," the human AI announced. "The lost colonies are targeting this station specifically. They've detected the precursor signatures in your mass nullifier research. They believe you have knowledge they need." First Speaker Ixel's energy form pulsed with sudden resolution. "Then we give them something else entirely." They turned to address the assembled council. "We accept humanity's offer. Not out of fear, but out of understanding. The Union was founded on the principle that we are stronger together. Now we must prove it." The AI's digital face showed the first hint of emotion they'd seen: relief. "Initiating emergency protocol. Stand by for integration." The barrier around the station pulsed, its energy signature changing. The holographic displays exploded with information as humanity's databases connected with Union systems. Vexna's crystalline form resonated with awe as she saw the true scope of what humanity had built during their isolation. Not just defenses, but an entire infrastructure designed to detect and counter reality manipulation. "Uploading tactical data," the AI announced. "The lost colonies aren't invincible. Their understanding of the precursor code is fragmentary, imperfect. Each reality alteration creates cascading instabilities. They're burning themselves out with each attack." Zen's scales shifted to a deep purple of revelation. That's why the precursors fell. Their power to rewrite reality came with a price, the AI confirmed. Perfect order cannot exist. It's a fundamental law deeper than physics itself. The more they tried to perfect reality, the more chaos they created. The lost colonies are following the same path, but accelerated by their incomplete understanding. The station's sensors detected multiple colony ships converging on their position. The vessels seemed to shift between states of existence, their weapons charging with energy that didn't obey normal physical laws. But now, with humanity's knowledge integrated into Union systems, Vexna could see the flaws in their approach. Their reality manipulations are creating micro-singularities in their own ships, she announced, her tactical training finding patterns in the new data. Each alteration weakens the fabric of space-time around them. "If we could synchronize our defenses." "Exactly," the AI agreed. "Humanity's barrier technology doesn't just block their attacks, It reinforces local reality. Together, we can create a cascade effect, using their own power against them. First Speaker Ixal's mechanical frame hummed with building energy. All Union ships coordinate with human defense protocols. We're not just fighting for survival now. We're fighting for the integrity of reality itself. What followed would be remembered in Union records as the Reality War, though it lasted less than a day by standard time. The Lost Colony ships attacked with reality warping weapons, attempting to rewrite the laws of physics around the station. But the combined human and Union defenses held firm, creating zones of reinforced space-time that turned the colony's own power back on themselves. Vexna watched as ship after ship collapsed into temporal singularities, their crews' attempts to perfect reality ultimately unmaking them. The tears in space began to heal as the Union's newly integrated sensors directed precise bursts of stabilizing energy. The immediate threat is contained, the AI announced as the last colony ship imploded. But this was only the beginning. Others will rediscover this knowledge. The cycle will repeat unless we maintain our vigilance. Then we maintain it together, First Speaker Ixal declared. Not as separate species hiding behind barriers, but as joint guardians of a greater truth. The human eye's face showed approval. The barriers won't disappear. They can't. But they can be synchronized, creating a network of protected zones throughout the galaxy. Earth will share its knowledge with select Union worlds, spreading the responsibility and the burden. Together, we can watch for signs of reality manipulation and stop it before it begins. And the Union? Vexna asked. How do we move forward knowing what we know? The same way humanity did, the AI responded. By understanding that true strength isn't in denying our imperfections, but in accepting them. The precursors fell because they couldn't accept an imperfect universe. We survive because we understand that those imperfections, free will, uncertainty, the ability to choose and change and grow, are what make existence worth preserving. As the Council Station's barrier synchronized with Earth's, creating a new kind of shield that would protect reality itself, Vexna realized that humanity's greatest gift to the galaxy wasn't their technology or their warnings. It was their willingness to bear an impossible burden, to sacrifice their own advancement to protect others, and most importantly, to trust that others could rise to share that responsibility when the time came. The lost colonies had sought to perfect reality through force, but in joining together to stop them, humanity and the Union had discovered something far more valuable. The understanding that true perfection lies not in rewriting the laws of physics, but in choosing to preserve them, imperfections and all, for the sake of all who would ever exist in this beautiful, flawed, and ultimately precious universe.